Good morning. I'm Diego Webb. I'm from Georgetown School in Aurora, Illinois. I have some questions to ask you. What is your name?
My name is Angela.
Keep going. You're doing great.
What's your position?
Position at Fermilab. How would you describe your job? What's your favorite subject in school and why?
Wow, so many questions. So my position at Fermilab, I'm a scientist in neutrino division. It means that I work to build detectors, to make experiments to study neutrinos, which are very teeny tiny particles that are present everywhere in the universe. So they're so numerous that billions of them cross at each second our fingernails. So there are really a lot of them, although we cannot see them with our eyes. And that's why they are so interesting for us. And that's why we build huge detectors to take photos of their interactions with mother and the tracks that leave behind them. Then I think the next question was, what was my favorite subject in school? So when I was little one, I loved mathematics and I wanted to be a mathematician when I was going to grow up. And then because I love numbers and I love, during mathematics and it was like sort of a game for me. But then I figured out later that mathematics, when you do that as a profession, is more model building. So you are studying and creating models that are very abstract. They are very not necessarily connected to nature and to what we have around us. And then I discovered physics later on in my studies, and I fell in love with that. Because physics instead is more about finding an explanation for very common things that happen all around us. Why do we see the sky blue or water blue? Why at the sunrise and sunset the sun becomes red? Like all sort of questions that are very, that are things that happen all the time around us. And that's what physics try and explain, and that's why I love it.
Thank you for taking time to talk with us.
Hello.
Hello.
Is this the kind of job you wanted to do as a kid?
So yeah, it's similar. So as a kid, as I was saying, I preferred to be a mathematician. It's like so it's close. I wanted to be a scientist more broadly, so that in that sense is what I wanted to be as a kid. It developed, and so I shaped it better as I was growing up, because I found out during studies that I love to be connected to everyday life, and I also love to build things with my own hands, and that's why I moved towards something that is more hardware oriented and more experimental oriented than mathematics.
What is your favorite part of your job?
Finding every day new problems. So that's something very special about what we do, is that it's something new, right? That nobody ever tried or attempted before. And so it's very challenging. We don't know when we start a new experiment or a new project, we don't really know. We know which answers, which questions we want to get addressed, but we don't know what the answers will be. And we are attempting, even from the technological point of view, things that have never been tried before. And that's why we run every day into new problems. And there isn't any handbook that we can read to find out what the solution for that problem is. So it's most of the time, it's a collaborative effort. We use a lot each other's help with people in our own team that can be, here at Fermilab, but could be it's most of the time international. So we are working on a daily basis with colleagues that are in Europe or, at the other end of the world. And we use a lot of this help to find solutions for these new problems.
What can kids do now to be ready for a job in your field?
So the thing that I would suggest the most for kids to do is be curious and never be shy about asking questions, and most of the time questions that kids might think are silly because they seem so simple to get addressed, and they might be shy at asking them. And that's exactly the opposite. Nothing is simple, and so every question is worth being asked, and especially questions about why in your everyday life. And if you keep being curious, it's guaranteed that you will get into some very fun, interesting questions and answers.